I just want to thank you guys so much for spending a half hour with me tonight. We're going to try to keep this to a half hour, but I know how valuable your time is, and I am so, so grateful for all of you who are here. And so I'm going to ask, so I can respect all of your time, that you guys, for one, especially you students, make sure you're jotting down some notes, because we're going to go over a lot of stuff in 30 minutes. And we want to make sure you've got it all down and you take any notes you need. And second of all, and parents, you can help with this, jot down any questions you might have, and then you can send those to us via text or email. And then we will make sure we answer those questions, but we won't have a Q&A time on this Zoom call, just so that we're not all here all night and we're being respectful of each other's time. All right. So you might have noticed I've got balloons behind me. I'm also wearing a party hat. And that is because we are so excited to head into a new season and a new fall schedule. All right, now if we were in person, you all would be blowing party horns with us, but we're not. So you just got to be Desiree and I, okay? We're so excited though. So the reason for this meeting is so that we can refresh our focus with the changing of the season and just make sure we're all aligned, make sure we're unified as a team that's on mission for the Lord as we are racing to the heart of the next generation together, okay? So also, we've had several folks who have joined our team from the spring until now, and that is amazing. But we also have a lot of team members who have been here for a long time. So it just is a great time to reset, get back to the basics before fall, and just remind everybody of why we do what we do and how we can best honor what God has entrusted us with, okay? So if that sounds good to everybody, give me, I don't know, this time give me a peace sign. How about that? If that sounds good, everybody. Okay, awesome. You guys are amazing. All right, I am going to go ahead and pass it over to the amazing Desiree. And I think you guys all know Des. She is awesome. She's our Thrive Kids admin, but for any parents who maybe don't know her, she handles all things administrative, including the scheduling and prepping the curriculum in our classrooms for Sundays. So I'm going to ask Des to just give us a brief reminder of what our mission is within Thrive Kids and how we can best accomplish it together as a team.
Yes. So what does that mean to run the race to the heart of the next generation? It means we're in a race where it's us as the church, or it's going to be culture that gets to the heart of the next generation first. We want it to be us. We want to get there first so that the littlest of thrivers can thrive with new life in Christ, all the way from those sweet little babies through 5th grade. Did you know statistics tell us that the majority of people that make the life-changing decision to follow Jesus do that as children, not into adulthood, which it makes this time like crucial in their life to get to them first before culture. And you might be thinking, how do we accomplish this? I want you to think about someone in your life that made you feel seen, known, and loved. You got them in your head? That's you for these kiddos. Every Sunday, showing up consistently for them so that they know that there's somebody that's waiting for them, that's saying, hey, I'm here and I've been waiting for you. Like, there you are. And we do this by realizing that, believe it or not, you have a bigger influence on their faith than even the lesson that they're learning that day. They may not remember what they learned on Sunday years from now, but they're going to remember you and your face and how you made them feel. By influencing their faith as we teach them that Jesus loves them and wants to be their best friend forever, that's how we get to the heart of the next generation. By intentionally engaging them in activities and discussions where they can apply the truth of God's word to their lives in their current age and phase, and then carry that with them into adulthood, that's how we get to the heart of the next generation, by creating safe environments where kids can experience the love of God and develop trust with their leaders and each other.
Awesome. If you can unmute me. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Desiree, for just reminding us about that. And that is so good. What God has entrusted us with is so big and it's so, so important. So now that we have a reminder of what our mission is, let's talk about for a brief moment what our mission is not. So one thing, and we are so passionate about this, we are not babysitting on Sundays, right, guys? We're not babysitting. So anybody can babysit. We're going beyond babysitting. So I'm going to tell you some hard truths here, but you shouldn't be serving on the kids team if your parents said you had to. Okay. So I'm just going to throw that out there, guys. All right. Do not serve on the kids team if your parents say you have to serve, because that's not keeping the mission first. And you shouldn't serve on the kids team if your parents maybe are on the dream team and you're like, wow, I really don't want to attend 2 church services, so I'll go get on the kids team. That's a bad reason to serve on the kids team. Okay. You should not serve on the kids team if you're trying to replace church with the fun, amazing environment that we create in Thrive Kids, and because you want to hang out and have fun with kids. I know we are the funnest team on the planet, but you cannot replace church with the kids team. So none of those things are part of the mission. And so if that's a reason you're on the kids team, you need to kind of reconsider that and decide if you're really on the kids team to be on mission. Okay. And we want everybody to be on mission. So now that we understand what the mission is, we understand what the mission is not. How are we going to come together as a team and accomplish our mission? So for one, we got to be unified and we got to have clarity on what the expectations of your role, what those expectations are. And that's the number one reason why we're on this call and we're having this meeting, because we want to provide you with clarity. Okay. The next thing is you got to believe in the mission. So I know you guys understand that there's a difference between knowing something and really believing in something, right? So you might be able to tell me what the mission is. You might be able to tell Des what the mission is, but if you don't actually believe the mission, then we're not going to get very far in building God's church together and building his kingdom together. And here's a pro tip. Okay. If you're more concerned about which experience you're serving in because you want to make sure you're sitting with your friends in church, that might be a sign that you are not bought into the mission. So I want you to think about that, okay? Think about, do you actually believe in the mission? Now, another thing, you got to be present both physically, in person, in body, but you also got to be present mentally, okay? So like Des said, these kids need us to show up consistently. And we're not just a body in a room, okay? I don't want you just to be here physically. I do want you to be here physically, but I don't want you only to be here physically. I want you to be here mentally. I want you to engage with those kids, engage with the lesson, engage with your team members. And when you show up on a regular basis and you're ready and prepared to lead, then you can really create those relationships that allow kids to truly begin to live like followers of Christ. So another thing we got to do is we got to understand that you guys should already know this as one of our Thrive leadership values, but we are carrying a full of it culture. Okay. So back to balloons and party hats and party blowers and fun. We want to be full of faith, family, and fun. So when you're in a classroom, you want to be a tone setter there. You want to lead the way. You don't want to just be, you know, sitting somewhere in the room looking bored. You want to greet every parent, greet every kid, greet the grandma, greet the quirky uncle, whoever you see, and engage with those people, engage with the kids and have fun. So connecting relationally with the kids and the parents and having fun with them is actually one of the best ways that you can build trust with them, believe it or not. And so, you know, if you are in a classroom and rather than engaging with the kids or whatever they're doing with, and you're just, you know, sitting in the back chit-chatting with another person on the team, then that's not being on mission. Okay. So we want to be connecting with the kids and we want to be modeling to them how to participate and how to have fun and how to be engaged because they're watching what we're doing as leaders, right? So another thing we want to do too is focus and put a priority on 5-star excellence. So both in the way we're teaching the kids and also how we're caring for the kids and in our classroom environment. So for instance, one thing we got to do as a team together is clean and organize our room. So what that means, guys, is that you got to be ready to stay in that classroom with all the other team members and clean up together and follow the checklist on the walls so that we can have a 5-star excellent room ready for, depending on what service you're in, for the next service or for the next Sunday. Okay. So I don't want you guys piecing out, you know, when the last kiddo is picked up and being like, okay, I got somewhere to go, or I got a friend to chat with, or I got something fun to do. It's a team effort. So you got to stay with your team. You got to clean up, make the room look excellent again. And just remember that we're a team. Check in with whoever your adult large group leader is for the day. Check in with them, see if they need anything else before you go for the day. Okay. And then recently, if you guys are keeping up on communications, you know that we made the decision not to allow food or drinks in our classrooms. And that includes both kids and leaders. So the biggest reason is due to potential allergies. It's really important to keep the vision of safety at the forefront of our mind and keep our classrooms as clean as we possibly can, okay, especially with how quickly we're growing and expanding. So when we were a smaller church, we could get away with having snacks and drinks and all those things, but this season is changing. That season is over. So we've got to adjust our systems. We've got to reevaluate. We've got to recalibrate for this season, for fall, for expansion, and what we're experiencing as we're going into fall. So another thing is, just to be honest with you, it can start looking pretty messy when we got a lot of drinks and a lot of snacks and, oh my goodness, 20 Red Bulls sitting in a classroom. Not only does it look messy, but also you got to think from a parent's point of view. What does that look like to a parent dropping their kid off, right? Think about the way you might rate a restaurant that you go and eat at, or you might rate a product that you buy off Amazon, right? Families are mentally rating us when they come to our classrooms and they're dropping off their kids. And so we want to give them every opportunity to trust us with their kids, right? And they might not trust us if they see 20 Red Bulls sitting next to our security binder, or they might not trust us if we're in the baby's room and there's a hot cup of coffee sitting on a ledge and they might be afraid that cup of coffee could spill on their baby. Okay. So we got to keep those things in mind and give them every opportunity to give us a 5-star rating. All right. And just build that trust. And then I want to talk also about just honoring your seat at the table. So what does that mean? One thing that's important that I want you guys to understand is you are here for a reason. You are here on purpose for a purpose. And you have to understand that not everyone gets a seat at the Thrive Kids table. Okay. We've got this table, and if you're on the team, you have a seat at the table, but not everybody gets that opportunity. You might not know this. Some of you newer folks might know this because you went through this process, but some of you folks who have been on the team for a long time, you might not know that there's actually a process to serving on the Thrive Kids team. It includes an interview with me, and it includes a background check if you're over the age of 18. So none of you guys had to do a background check, but if you're over the age of 18, you have to do a background check. You have to have an interview. Just because you want to serve on Thrive Kids team doesn't actually mean you get to do that. So what am I saying? I'm saying that serving is a privilege. Okay. It's not something you have to do, but something you get to do. So how do we honor the seat that we have at the table? Okay. For number one, we got to sit one, serve one. And I know you guys are all familiar with that, but in case some of my amazing parents of students don't know, sit one, serve one essentially means that we believe that full things fill things. All right. So we're pouring out on kids every Sunday, and we can't pour out on kids if we're not full in our own spirit. So I will tell you right now, you will get burned out eventually if you are not getting into church and caring for your own spirit and caring for your own soul. So it is absolutely an expectation that you are attending one full service and that you are serving for one full service. And guess what? That is a commitment. It is a time commitment. It is a big chunk of time, but it is so important because, for one, we care for you and we want you to thrive as you serve in our dream team, but we also want you to thrive in your walk with the Lord. So parents, that's something that you guys can help your students understand too, is, hey, it is a time commitment. And many of you parents are probably the ones who are transporting your kiddos. So you got to be prepared to get them here for both church and serving. Okay. And the next way we can honor our seat at the table is we got to be to church on time. We got to be to huddle on time, and we got to be in our places on time. So just as a reminder, arrival time, if you're serving at 9 a.m. is 8 in the morning, and huddle time is 8:15. Now, if you're serving for the 11 a.m., well, you should already be at church because you would have attended the first experience, right? And then you should be ready and in the huddle, which starts at 10:25. So it's pretty much right after that first experience. All right. And listen, we understand sometimes life happens, but I'm just going to be really real with everybody here. Sleeping over at a friend's house and missing your scheduled Sunday or being late for it is not an excuse. All right. Having a lot of fun on a Saturday and sleeping in on a Sunday is not an excuse. Missing your scheduled serve time. And after huddle, we are expecting that you're going to go straight to your position, straight to your room, not chit-chatting with a friend or running to the kitchen for a snack or anything like that. Those things can happen before it's time to serve. But once you're here and we've done huddle, it is time to be on mission. Just we talked about for our mission. Okay. And the next thing I want to talk about, honoring our seat at the table, we got to wear a Thrive Kids shirt. Now, guys, I cannot do any more coaching on folks who aren't wearing their Thrive Kids shirt. I have gotten worn out with coaching on Sundays about wearing your Thrive Kids shirt. Okay. So Thrive Kids shirt is a visual representation to both parents and kids. So for one, you're serving different kids every Sunday. There are obviously lots of kids who are the same, but there are kids who are different every Sunday who are new. They don't actually know who their leaders are. And so that shirt is going to show them visually who their leaders are. And then it's also a representation for parents. So we talked about having to build a trust with parents, right? Well, they got to know there's not just some random person in their room with their kids. They got to know that whoever's in that room has been equipped, is trained, and is actually supposed to be there. And so your kid's shirt shows them that. All right. So it's really important that you guys wear those shirts. I don't want to hear anymore. Well, I don't know where it is. I don't want to hear anymore. Well, I didn't have time to do laundry. The only exception is for those of you who are really, really new and may not have received a shirt, because we actually did run out of shirts. Okay. And I am so sorry for that. But we have another round in print right now. We should get them within the next week or two. So if you never got a shirt, you will get one and I will get it to you. And if you've lost your shirt and you can't find it, that's okay. You just let us know. We will get you a new shirt. But then I want you to just be responsible to wear that shirt every single Sunday. Okay. The next way we can honor our seat at the table is we got to be prepared for whatever lesson is being taught if you're in a room that teaches. So if you don't know how to access that, you can let us know. We will teach you. There is more than one way to access curriculum. But for one, you should be receiving an email once a week that's just a communications email. Whatever email address we have on file for you is where that email is going. So if you're not receiving it, then you need to essentially wave at Desiree and I, not like right now physically, but send us a message, something, and just say, hey, I'm not getting those emails. Can we make sure that you guys have the right email on file? Okay. So let's make sure that we're looking at those emails and that you're being prepared for whatever the lesson is for the week. And by the way, I'm not going to ever ask you guys or expect you guys to lead a class as a whole. That's not your role. But you do have to know what's being taught, because the only way you can lead kids in a relevant way and help them grow in their faith is if you actually know what's going on. Plus, you're supporting your small group leaders, and you can't be much of a support if you don't know what the activity is. You can't be much of a support if you don't know what the game is. You need to already know those things. And if you have questions, then your large group leader would be happy to answer those questions for you. But you got to at least come in knowing, what those lessons are and be prepared to have some questions if you don't understand. All right. And then the next thing, honoring our seat at the table, we got to pay attention to GroupMe. So GroupMe, for those of you, I think all of you students probably know this, but parents might not know this. We have a communications platform that we use as the dream team. So it's not just Thrive Kids, but every single team that makes up the dream team at Thrive Church uses a communications platform called GroupMe. And this is something that we just use to communicate. So we'll communicate anything relevant to Thrive Kids, but we'll also communicate wins and like the cool things that we're seeing in classrooms, and you can share those and we can share those. Or if we have something cool that we feel like the Lord is speaking to us in our quiet time, we can pop that on GroupMe and we can just encourage each other and stay connected during the week. So I really need you guys to make sure you have GroupMe and you're looking at GroupMe. Now, if you are a student that doesn't have a phone, bless you. That is amazing. You don't have to have a phone, but parents, I am asking you to lean in a little bit. If your teen or your student doesn't have a phone, will you please download the GroupMe app so that they can use your phone to access that? And I am asking that you would all be prepared to access that 3 times a week. Okay. Check into GroupMe 3 times a week and just make sure that you know what's going on. Okay. And some practical ways to do this: you can set an alarm. If you have like Alexa or something like that, you can set an alarm. If you have a phone, you can set an alarm. If you don't, hey, write it on a sticky note, pop it on your mirror, wherever you get ready in the morning, if in the bathroom or in your bedroom, whatever, just so you can see it. And please make sure that one of those times you pop into GroupMe, one of those 3 times, is a Saturday, preferably before noon, so that you know and you're prepared for any last minute communications that we might have. Okay. And the last thing I want to talk about as far as honoring your seat at the table is just being consistent. Now, I'm not going to lie, guys, kids team, it does require require a bigger commitment than other teams just due to what we've been entrusted with. That's kids, right? So kids need to see those consistent faces. They need to see you guys week after week. That's how they build trust. So for those of you who have been on this team for a really long time, you know that there was a time where it was okay to maybe serve once a month or maybe twice a month, biweekly. But that is not a system we can actually have any longer, especially as we're growing and we're expanding. So we got to get back to that idea of reevaluating and recalibrating for the season. So we've learned over the past year how incredibly important it is for kids to see the same faces week after week. We've worked with experts. We've consulted other churches that are bigger and a bit farther along with us. And the answer is always the same. Kids need to see their leaders weekly. It's so important. And the truth is, anxiety in kids is high. That might come to a surprise to you guys, but I'm talking elementary age kids have high anxiety, especially post-COVID. And we don't know what the home lives of a lot of these kids look like, but when they see multiple faces and they're inconsistent, that contributes to that anxiety. And it makes it to where they can't build a trust relationship with you guys. And we want that. We want them to have a trust relationship. Okay. So for everyone who is going to continue on in Thrive Kids for our fall semester, we are scheduling weekly. And if you've been on the kids team for a while, and you are still in a biweekly situation or something like that, I just want you to know we want to make the switch to weekly, and it's something we have to do. Okay, so please plan on serving weekly. We understand that life is busy, and we understand that you might not be able to make it every single Sunday. And that's okay, but you have to understand that we need you to make it the majority of Sundays, and you can't let us know last minute. Okay, so we can't have text messages on Fridays or Saturdays or heaven forbid Sunday morning saying, sorry, something came up, I can't make it. Okay, because we have kids that are counting on you. We have a team of people who are counting on you. And when we get those kind of text messages, we have to scramble last minute to fill a spot. And that can be really, really difficult sometimes, especially on a Friday or Saturday. So if you can't make it, we are asking you, please, 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 to let us know in advance to the best of your ability. We understand people get sick. Sometimes that's out of our control. But, if you've got a situation where maybe work calls you up, if you have a job, they might call you up and say, hey, I really need you to come to work on Sunday at 10 o'clock. Well, the answer is, I'm so sorry. I have a previous commitment that I need to fulfill. I can come at 1, but I can't come at 10. Okay. Or, please don't text us and say, listen, I got a sleepover at my friend's house. They live kind of far away. I can't make it. Okay. That's not a good enough excuse not to show up for your team commitment. All right. And on Sunday mornings, guys, when we get these text messages, I literally got to make a decision. Sometimes if I'm going to go care for a family that needs care, maybe there's a crying mom who's overwhelmed because her kid doesn't want to go into class. Or am I going to go jump in a classroom who needs my help because I don't have a leader in place, or Lord forbid, I don't have several leaders in place. Okay. And I don't want to make those decisions. So let's honor our seat at the table by understanding the weekly commitment. Okay. Now, if you're thinking, wow, I can't make that commitment, I've got too much stuff going on. Well, I want to challenge you just a little bit, okay? Because you are ridiculously in charge of your own life. If you have a passion for the next generation and it's important to you, you got to fight to make that time. You got to think about, hey, what are some other things I can cut out that maybe aren't a priority? You can work with your parents. You can work with another trusted adult. You can work with myself. You can work with Desiree. And we'll help you brainstorm, hey, are there some non-necessities that I can cut out rather than cutting out serving so that I don't feel overly busy? We would love to help you with that. I absolutely believe that there is a place for every single person on the dream team. But I will say that it might not be the kids team for every single person. And that is okay. It's okay. If you're unable to commit to any of the things that we have been talking about, then serving on the kids team might not be the best place for you. So just think about questions like, hey, what am I passionate about? What do I love doing? What do I do that I feel like I just come alive with? And we would be happy to come alongside you and help you. If maybe it's a different spot on the kids team. Hey, if you can't do that weekly Sunday commitment, we actually have a lot of other opportunities in kids to serve. We do have monthly opportunities if you want to be on our event team. We do have actual babysitting opportunities if you love to babysit and you want to do that monthly. We have a kid care team where we always need help. We got preteen nights every semester that we need help with. We got our kids check-in team that can do bi-weekly serves. Okay. So there's different opportunities and we want to help you find the right fit for you. Okay. And even if it's not the kids team, we would still love to help you with that. Okay. So just in closing, and we're running a couple minutes behind here, so I'm so sorry, please forgive me. But we're almost done here. But I just want you to know that as the Thrive Kids director, okay, I have two hands, right? And in one of those hands, I have to hold the best interests of the kids and the families that we serve. And I have to make every decision in a way that protects the safety of our kiddos and our families. Now, in the other hand, I hold my dream team, and that's you guys. Hold on, guys. Sorry, got a message here. Okay, so that's you guys. And I have to make decisions that have your best interests in mind as I'm balancing what's in my other hand. Okay, it's a balancing act. So I have this responsibility to balance the needs of what's in both of my hands as I'm building God's church. And sometimes I got to lean this way and sometimes I got to lean that way, but it's not one or the other, it's a balance. So at Thrive, we want to champion people, but we also want to steward Thrive. And so we need you as the students of the Thrive Kids team, we need you guys to be all in because God is going all in with the things that he is showing us. God is showing us some amazing things. We're seeing things happen on our kids team that we've never seen happen before. Our class sizes, they're growing every single Sunday. And especially as we come into fall, we're really seeing that. And so much so that you might know this and you might not, but we're seriously considering adding a third service. It is very possible that by the end of this year, we may have a third service. And also we're beginning to see God move as we put our focus on things outside of Sundays too. So I know you guys know we did a Thrive Kids camp over this past summer. For the first time, we're establishing preteen nights every quarter. We're doing a parenting event in October for parents to come alongside them and partner with them. We're actually considering doing a midweek discipleship program for kids, perhaps in 2024. So there's lots of things that God is doing, and we need our team to just be all in. These are so exciting things, but it's only a little bit of how we're racing to the heart of the next generation. But we got to be unified. We got to be a unified team. We got to have clarity on what we're doing, and we got to run forward together toward the mission. We got to build together if we're going to impact the kids and families of Thrive. All right. And I'm going to be honest, Thrive Kids team, it is the hardest team to serve on. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. It truly is the hardest team to serve on because of everything that you have to pour out. And it is a time commitment. But listen, the kids team is also the most rewarding when you can step back and you can see the fruit of your labor and you can see what God is doing within the hearts of our kids and our families and see what God's doing within your own heart as you're serving them. It is amazing. And at the same time, Thrive Kids team is more fun than any other team. All right, you guys, come on. Like, who else can you play with squirt guns with? Who else can you blow party horns with? Who else can you do dance parties with? We are so fun. And we pride ourselves on being full of faith, family, and fun. We already even talked about that today. But we can simultaneously enjoy the journey and also work hard at the same time. We're not going to be the best kids ministry in South Denver on accident. It's not going to happen by accident. So we've got to create it. We've got to be intentional about it. And so I want to just call each and every one of you up. Okay. I want to call you up. I don't want to call you out, but I want to call you up. Okay. And so, you parents who have joined your teenager and your students here tonight, you guys can really help support them by just helping them digest some of the things we've communicated tonight, help them understand the weight of the commitment and just support them along the way. And so my ask is that every single one of you would confirm with Desiree and myself if you're aligned with the purpose, if you're aligned with the expectations that we've gone over, because we are sending out our fall semester schedules, which is September through December, and we want every single one of you on our team. But you got to be willing to be committed. You got to be willing to follow the expectations, and you got to be willing to run with us. Okay. So please, please let us know by noon on Monday. Give it some thought, pray about it, talk to your parents. Okay. And let us know if you are ready to stay on this team. And if you're staying on this team for our fall semester, I want you to mark your calendars for August 27th. Okay. That is our in-person, not Zoom, our in-person team training for the fall. It's going to be right after the second experience. It is a Sunday, and we're going to have a lot of great time together. We're going to have breakout sessions, and it is going to be a great time to just go over some initiatives for fall. Now, if you're not able to continue, or, as we've been talking about some of this stuff tonight, you feel that it's not something that you can do, or you feel like maybe the Lord's nudging you in a different direction, I want you to let us know. We want to come alongside you. We want to help you, and we want you to have a healthy transition if that's the case. So I would just ask that if that is the case, you would be flexible with us and work with us through the month of September as we work hard to find a replacement for your position if you are going to exit our team, and that we're not leaving our kiddos essentially in a bad spot without you, or we're not leaving our team in a poor spot. Okay. So as I mentioned at the start of our time together this evening, we'd love to answer any questions you have. Just text us. You can email us also. You should all have my email since you're getting those communications every week. And we would be happy to answer those questions. But we're running a few minutes late, so I want to close in prayer with you tonight, and then I'm going to let you all go. Okay. All right, let's pray together. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for every single student and every single parent that joined this Zoom call tonight. Father, I thank you for them just taking their time to be here. God, I thank you for these students who are so important to our team, who are so valuable to our mission, God. And I pray that you would just fill them with a sense of purpose. God, help every single student on this call understand how important they are, and that they are here on purpose for a purpose. You've created them for a purpose, God, which incidentally is what we're teaching kids this month in elementary school, is that they are created on purpose for a purpose. So God, would you just fill them with your vision, Lord? Help them to see, where do they fit in the vision of Thrive Kids? Lord, would you just create a path forward for them? Would you just put a fire in their heart, put a passion there to move and to run with us for the next generation? And God, I just pray blessing and protection over each student here and each family here. God, as school is getting underway, everybody may have started school already or might be ready to start. God, I just pray your blessing and protection over them as they move forward in this year. Just show them what you have for them, God. You have such great plans for them, Lord. And I ask that everything that is taken from them as they serve and as they pour out on others, that it would be returned to them in a double portion, God, because you are a God of abundance and you multiply things. So God, we ask that you would just multiply the blessing there for each one of these students. Lord, we love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, you guys, I love y'all. I thank you for your time, and I can't wait to see you all on Sunday. Have a wonderful evening.